none, I'll bring this meeting of the Koochiching County Board of Commissioners to order. It's 9:33 and we are meeting virtually. First item on the agenda is to approve the proposed agenda with any additions or deletions, Jen?
No additions and no deletions.
Move the agenda, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I've got a motion by Commissioner McBride.
I'll second, Skoye.
Second by Commissioner Skoye. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Oops, Commissioner Pavlik.
Pavlik, aye.
Commissioner McBride.
Aye.
Sobel. And Skoye.
Aye.
And I am an aye. Let me see here. COVID-19 update. Kathy.
Good morning. Statistics for Minnesota, there is 135,372 cumulative positive, with 120,421 no longer needing isolation. There have been 2,353 deaths in Minnesota, and tests administered is 2,710,177. For Koochiching County, we're currently at 170 cumulative positives with 4 deaths, and we have conducted 4,949 tests. Our percent positive is 3.5, with the state average being 5.2%. One of the real concerning things now is that the states around us, especially the Dakotas, have had a very large increase in hospitalizations and ICU beds. So that, of course, does affect us because they will be looking for hospital beds and ICU beds in Minnesota, and then once we get filled up, then that causes Minnesotans to be sent further out as well. So another reason to be really mindful of wearing masks and doing whatever you can to prevent the spread of this. Any questions?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Kathy, this is Wayne. I have one. With a big Sanford system in western Minnesota, with that one in the, I think it's Alina and Grand Forks, are numbers of people that are in Minnesota that are sent over there for hospitalization, is that a Minnesota number or is that a North Dakota number?
Well, in looking at what they have available, it wouldn't matter where the patients came from. But I'm not sure, Commissioner. There may be, I think there are probably still Minnesota people that are in ICU beds, no matter where that ICU bed is located.
You're
Okay, I didn't know it.
You're talking number of cases, right, Commissioner?
Yeah, right. Yeah, but all of northwestern Minnesota, actually all the way down to actually even Sioux Falls, which is the headquarters for Sanford. All of those western cases are probably ending up in the Dakotas, and I didn't know if they were cases from Minnesota that bump theirs up, or if they're counted in Minnesota. It's really not a big issue. It was just kind of a question
Everybody's counted in the state that they reside in, and so if the state and county they reside in, so even if we have people here that go to the hospital, typically our COVID patients are going to Duluth right now. Their number is still within Koochiching County, and they still are Minnesota data. But each hospital only has so many beds and so many ICU beds, and once those are filled, I don't think it matters where the person came from that is filling it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes, it does. Yeah, and I guess it's one of those things that people move, and so because I know they were saying that there was another state that was accepting a lot of cases from a different state, a neighboring state, and so I didn't know, if how they counted them. But that pretty much answers it, Kathy. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a critical question. It was just kind of curious.
Okay.
Commissioner McBride, did you have a question?
Yeah, a quick one for Kathy. Being that we're well over 4,000 some tests, I mean, that obviously most of them are county residents. Well over a third to 33% of our total population, which is alarming. And also, are we seeing mostly, the community spread in family units, type things?
Yes, there's the majority of the cases, by far the majority of the cases are community spread. And yes, typically when it enters a family, there's multiple people within the family that test positive. So that's part of it. But it definitely is spreading at a very concerning rate. It's concerning because we want to keep our businesses open. We want to keep the kids in school. And, we don't want to use up all the hospital beds. If something else has, if there's ICU beds are not only used for COVID patients, they need to be available for people with heart attacks or car accidents or lots of other things. So that's a concern too if they're getting filled up by COVID patients.
Thank you.
Hey, Kathy, this is Mark. Did you mention how many active cases there are, or did I miss that?
No, I didn't. I didn't catch that until I started going over the statistics that I didn't have the list of no longer needing isolation. But the last that I had heard, it was like at 158, I think it was, no longer needing isolation.
Out of the 170.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Kathy?
12 active.
Is there somebody?
In Koochiching.
That we know of.
Right.
Okay, any other questions? All right. Approval of minutes from October 13th.
Move the minutes, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Schobel.
Second.
Was that Wayne?
That was Wade.
Oh, Wade, okay. Second by Pavlik. Any discussion? Hearing none. Pavlik.
Pavlik, yes.
McBride.
Aye.
Schobel.
Aye.
Skoye.
Aye.
And I am an aye. Financial business.
Mr. Chair, I will move on 4A, B, and C.
McBride will second.
Okay, I've got a motion by Schobel, second by McBride. And I have one question for Dave. Dave, in the claims and stuff, you had a mower that you had. I guess it was rented for mowing the ditches and that.
I think the history on that mower, they have been using that mower for 2 or 3 years now, and then someone to mow those ditches.
Okay, well, didn't we purchase a mower within the last year or so?
No, we didn't. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you way better.
Okay, no, we didn't, and I can't remember the guy's name. Trent, who do we rent that mower from?
Mark.
I was just questioning because I thought that we had purchased it, but if we're renting it, that's fine. So, any other questions from the board? Okay, I'll call for the vote. Pavlik. You there, Wade?
Oh, Pavlik, aye.
Strobel.
Aye.
Skoye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
McBride was an aye. You forgot me.
I saw your head nodding, so
I shook my head, yeah.
I thought I said something, but I guess I didn't. So
I don't think a head shake counts.
you just expected us to hear that, right? Okay. Review 2020 second quarter budget versus actual financial report. Ken?
All right. So I provided you all with a budget, actual to budget report for the second quarter. Actually, it's the third quarter. A couple things that I'd like to point out. So if we look at the general revenue, we received CARES Act funding of $1.6 million. Of that, at the end of September, we had expended a little under $500,000. So that does affect what the difference in our general revenue fund balance. One of the things on page 2 of 8 on the financial report, you can see that the expenditures for the airport project are $4.7 million. And then when we look at the revenues that we've received from the airport for reimbursements, we're at 2.7. So that's a considerable amount of funding that's been put out there for cash flow purposes. Although we did receive $2.9 million this week from the city for an FAA reimbursement. The other revenues that I want to point out in our con, we had budgeted $100,000, and again that's on page 2 of 8. And those revenues come from whatever's been harvested off of that site. So whether it's gravel, timber, whatnot, Con receives those funds. We had budgeted $100,000. We only received $57,000. So that's a reduction. And for general revenue and for Con as well. And those adjustments will be made in the 2021 budget. It just always depends on what they're taking off of those lands, and usually Nathan has a pretty good idea of what's been happening on those, so I'll reach out to Nathan and ask him about that. On page 3 of 8, I just want to point out the general revenue fund balance. In 2019, we had actually a gain of $808,000 in our general revenue fund. Right now, our fund balance as of September 30th was $6.3 million. At the end in 2019, it was $6.4 million, and the difference in that, I like to take a look at that, is really because of the additional cash flow that we have for the airport, and which is offset by some of the CARES Act revenues. So the bottom line is we are about in the same line for general revenues. We're a little bit ahead of last year than we were at this time. We're looking at highways fund balance as of 9/30 was $5.4 million. Last year was at 7.5. That fund balance fluctuates a little bit more, They did use $565,000 of fund balance in 2019, and they're estimated to use about $600,000 in 2020. So at the end of the year, we'll be really watching that fund balance close and looking to see if there's any additional revenues that we can put into that fund. Environmental services, I think, looked pretty good. They did use a fund balance use in 2019 of $200,000. They are estimating to use about $750,000 in 2020. So again, that's a fund balance that I'm going to be watching pretty closely and seeing where they line up at the end of the year. I'm not going to ask for any budget adjustments at this point, but we'll do another review in November and then make some budget adjustments probably to recognize the CARES Act funding revenues and expenditures and some of the airport's revenues and expenditures. So we end up at the end of the year as paying a little attention to some of those changes that have happened. The other item that I want to point out, it's on page 8. It is our trust fund summary. That's our tax. That's our timber sales and land sales. Fund balance in 2019 at the same time was $1.3 billion. Right now we're at $870,000. So that's a difference in about $450,000. Again, that one, a lot of activity happens at the end of the year as maybe new permits open up. But I'm working with Nathan to really watch that, and again, I'm estimating lower revenues for the trust fund apportionment for 2020 versus or 2021 than we did in 2020. Overall, the budget is projected for the year to use $2.4 million in reserves. Year to date, we're actually at a positive reserve gain of $464,000. So a lot will really happen in the next 3 months. The other item that I wanted to discuss is our out-of-home placement costs. We haven't looked at that for a while. I think I provided you all with this graph of out-of-home placement costs. That's in your packet. Costs are a little bit higher already this year than last year, although they are still within budget. I don't know if Kathy's still on and she's got anything to add on that, but I did have a conversation with Kathy, and they still are under their budget and are expected to come in within budget for the year. One of the things that I did look at is our travel budget, just to see what the effect that the pandemic has had. So in our 2020 budget, we had $150,000 budgeted. We've only used $35,000 this year, so we're going to come in with considerable savings on our travel budget this year. However, we got some training, I think, that is being delayed, so we may see catch up once the pandemic is over. And that's all I have right now for the budget to actual report. I apologize about that. Do you have any questions?
Kathy, just looking now, the report on the out-of-home placements is through September 30th. So if we extend that out for 3 more months, it looks like we're going to be in probably close to what the 2018 numbers are.
Yeah.
But it's very good compared to where our trend used to be.
Yeah. We keep a very close eye on it and work really hard to do what we can. There's an awful lot of it that we can't control, but we certainly do what we can.
Good job.
Thank you.
Is there quite a few of those, Kathy, that are placed out of home, out of the county?
Placements are children with severe mental health issues that need some sort of residential treatment, and we don't have that available in Koochiching County.
Okay.
One other question, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
For Jen, I guess I missed the total expenditures for the COVID out of the 1.6 million, and what's the balance left yet? And that needs to be expended by December 1st?
Right. The actual expenditures have been, and this is as of the end of September, it's a little under 500,000. But the school allocations, they're just giving me their paperwork now. The documentation that I need, so those checks will hopefully be cut next week. And so a lot of those things that are going to happen in that account activity, because those funds have to be expended by December 1st. So, and we're getting close to that deadline.
That's one of the biggest fights right now with the second COVID aid nationally is nobody spent the money they've had, and that's been kind of an issue. And that relates to state and local governments mostly. Because I know I spent my check.
Yeah.
The CARES activity has been meeting, and we're watching what our projected funds remaining are going to be, so we can reallocate those funds. And the CARES Act committee will probably be meeting again next week and throughout the month of November. So the last meeting in November will have allocated all those funds.
Jen? All right. Thank you, Jen.
Welcome.
Okay, next on the agenda is accept a donation. Tyson Vending has a donation of $8.06 for the Sheriff's Department for coffee.
Move.
A motion by Commissioner McBride. Do I have a second?
Point.
Second by Commissioner Skoye. Any discussion? Hearing none. Commissioner Pavlik.
Pavlik, aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Schobum.
Aye.
Skoye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay. Approve IT capital expenditure and 2020 budget adjustment.
Good morning. So this RBA was submitted by Jenny on my behalf. It is to compensate for the error that I made. I sent you all an email on the 13th after our last meeting, with you approved funding for the replacement firewalls to cover the second year of maintenance. I made an error in my presentation. I was $10,000 short in my request. So this request is to try and compensate for that. One of this was the second year of licensing in addition to maintenance. So the RBA is to request an additional $10,000 be approved for that expenditure, and also to add $10,000 from, I believe it's a contingency fund that Jenny does, to keep my 2020 budget goal.
Any questions for Jackie?
I'll move, Mr. Chair.
Is that Wade?
Yeah, that's Wade.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Hey, Mr. Chair.
Second by Commissioner Schobel. Any discussion?
Is there a savings by going out and paying out ahead of time like this?
Yes. Originally, I thought we'd save about $20,000. Our actual realized savings will be $8,300 plus or minus $1,000, depending on what the 2021 renewal price would be.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Jackie? All right, I'll call for the vote. Pavlik.
Aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Schobel. Skoye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Human resource business. Now. She was there.
She's here.
Here we go. Unmuted.
Okay.
I have a notice of hire for a child support officer. She just started yesterday by the name of Christy Kalpak.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Good job.
Yes. I also have a request to approve and execute the AFSCME letter of understanding for our contract negotiations. And I would have attached the LOUs as well as the proposed wage scales.
Okay. Wishes of the board?
I'll move, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Commissioner Pavlik.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Second by Commissioner Schobel. Any discussion?
Janelle, that's both units, the courthouse and public health and human services. Okay.
Any other discussion? Okay. I'll call for the vote. Pavlik.
Aye.
McBride. Schobel.
Aye.
Skoye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Thank you, Jill.
Good job by everybody there. Thank you.
Yeah. Renewal County Group Life Insurance, voluntary long-term disability, short-term disability, dental, and vision plans for 2021.
So, Mr. Chair, this is something that's done annually. These are voluntary insurance benefits that employees can choose to or opt to, participate in. It's the group life insurance, voluntary long-term disability, short-term disability, dental, and vision plans. The insurance committee reviews the updates each year and makes a recommendation, and the insurance committee is recommending approving of the renewal.
So moved by McBride.
Motion by McBride. Then a second.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Second by Commissioner Schobel. Any discussion?
Jen, do you know when the renewal dates for these are? Are they coming up?
Renewal dates have moved to January 1st. They used to be, we used to separate the voluntary benefits and the health insurance, but now they're all, the renewal is January 1st, and then there's going to be an open enrollment period for employees from November 16th through November 30th.
Yep.
Good question.
Yeah, one quick question again. Jen, can you explain the open enrollment as compared to the other enrollment in January 1st?
Okay, so the effective dates of the policy of the insurance plans are going to be January 1st, but open enrollment is going to happen in November. So people are all ready to go by January 1st. The voluntary benefits used to, I think the time period, the open enrollment was in July, and so it just ran that a little bit on a different schedule than the health insurance. And the reason why we put them together is just, first of all, the reason why they were separated before was because there's a lot of changes that are made, and it was a lot of work for payroll to do. We're streamlining the enrollment process. I'm not sure if we're going to have paperless enrollment this year or not, but it's just that the time period of the plans have all gone from being staggered to a January 1st.
So if a person has no changes at all, they do nothing. It just moves forward, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Any other questions for Jen? Okay. Did I have a motion and a second on that?
Yes, I'm showing. Let me double check. Yep, McBride and Shublem.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, any other questions? Okay, I'll call for the vote. Pavlik.
Aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Trobum.
Aye.
Skoye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Thank you, Jen. Appoint commissioner to...
You're welcome.
Okay. Appoint commissioner to NACO committee, and that's to appoint Commissioner Pavlik to the environmental committee. Am I right?
Mr. Chair.
Motion by Commissioner Schobel.
I will second that nomination of Yul Gibbons, AK.
Smokey the Bear.
Well, they're getting great representation. That's true.
Okay. Any other any discussion?
It is the perfect committee for this county. There's only 3 of us in the state that are on this, and generally they're willing to go to the meetings in Washington. So I've tried to hold off on that. But any year where we've got a big issue for our area, then I would have to go. So.
Okay. Well, thank you for being a participant in that and doing such a great job. So, needless to say, we got a lot of wetlands. We need somebody here. So,
Yeah.
Okay, I'll call for the vote. Commissioner Pavlik.
Aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Trobum.
Aye.
Skoye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Accept Koochiching County Health Board resignation.
Mr. Chair, I would move to accept the resignation of Ward Merrill. He's put in some good time with the public health, Tri-County Public Health Board, and I'd like to thank him for his time that he's put in, and I guess we need to just accept that resignation. And I think, Jen, do we want to put a motion into maybe posting for applicants? Because we need seat filled before February.
Yeah, I received some information from them, including a job description, or not a job description, but a can't find it, but sort of a description, and we can advertise if you want me to. Go ahead and do that, and start taking applications. So.
Because there's
Okay.
travel expenses in that, so I think we should advertise it.
Okay, I will go ahead and advertise for that then. Can I have a first? Did somebody second that motion?
I think Brian just made the motion just now. So
I'm sorry.
I think we're waiting for a second here.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Okay, and I've got a second by Schobel. Do you want to do that as one motion, or?
That's okay by me if it's okay with Brian.
Fine.
Okay. Any further discussion?
You know, Mr. Chair, this is Wade. I'm just wondering, Ward Merrill, I mean, he went way above and beyond all these years. I wonder if we shouldn't have a letter of recognition or something from the county board in appreciation of his services. I mean, like I say, he was outstanding. So.
As part of the motion, we'll accept that, Commissioner Pavlik.
You want a second on that?
No, I think
We have a second on that. But Shovem, are you good with the change? The letter of appreciation?
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right, I'll call for the vote. Pavlik.
Aye.
McBride. Schobel.
Aye.
Commissioner Skoye?
Aye.
Okay. And I'm an aye. Okay. Consider waiving cremation fee for cremations using Koochiching County Burial Cremation Assistance.
set the year. And if you'll remember back in 2014, when we signed a contract for medical examiner services with Lakeland Pathology, in that board motion, we also established a $50 fee for each cremation that was authorized by the medical examiner, that we would charge that $50 fee to the funeral home, and then this would help to offset some of our medical examiner expenses. So over the past 6 years, our average has been anywhere from $3,500 to $4,500 in fees that we've brought in to go against our medical examiner fees, which have ranged anywhere from $18,000 to as high as $32,000. So Green Larson has requested that the $50 cremation fee that we charge them be waived for the cases that are approved for Koochiching County burial cremation assistance. $50 cremation fee would still continue for the other cremation that are done, but just not for cases approved by to be paid by the Koochiching County Burial Assistance Program. Any questions about that?
It looks like Betsy, we might actually be saving a little money on that because the fees in that are lower.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure. I think maybe, are you jumping ahead to the one with the actual medical examiner? Because as we know, Dr. Unchini.
I might be jumping ahead, yeah.
Yeah. This is a separate issue. This is a charge that we charge to the funeral homes that do the cremations.
Okay.
For us.
Mr. Chair, I'll move on this. I mean, it's going to be a small expense to the county, but I feel that Green Larson does a tremendous service for our community, so I would move to waive the $50.
Okay, I've got a motion by McBride. Do I have a second?
Coyle, second.
Thank you, Commissioner. Second by Commissioner Scully. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Pavlik.
Aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Trobum. Scully.
Aye.
And I am an aye.
Thank you.
Is there something else that we needed on that, Betsy? That's it, right? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that. No, we don't need anything else on this particular item.
Okay, thank you. Okay, CARES Act business.
We need approval of the medical examiner.
Oh, right. Sorry. Okay, now when we've already got a motion and a second, right? Oh, we don't. Okay. Well, I'm lost now. Okay.
We got a motion right now.
Okay. I got a motion by Commissioner Pavlik.
Second that motion.
Second by Commissioner Schroblum. Any more discussion?
Yes, could Betsy, could you quickly explain the changes?
This is item 10 on here where we, Lakeland Pathology has been the appointed medical examiner for Koochiching County. Their contract was going to be up this year. Dr. Unchini, who is the forensic pathologist for Lakeland, is retiring the end of November. So regardless, we had to come up with a new contract, a new medical examiner for the county. So did some research work with that and found out that Midwest Medical Examiners, which is in Anoka County in the city of Ramsey. They have about 38 counties in Minnesota that they work with, and they have appointed 4 forensic pathologists at Midwest Medical Examiners, and they do this for counties. Now, we expect to see our costs go down considerably in a year because they charge $125 admin fee monthly versus Dr. Uncini charged us $500 admin fee monthly. And their cremation costs are $2,000, one charge of $2,000 versus what we were getting was anywhere from probably $2,300 to as high, I've seen it once over $3,000. And of course, that's dependent on the cremation too. But with Midwest Medical Examiners, it'll be a flat $2,000 fee for them. I'd look at another one. Jenny suggested we look further and not just go with one. And we did check out University of North Dakota. And their costs were per capita, so we would see an increase with cost. And they weren't be able to work with our local investigators, where Midwest Medical will work with our local investigators. And we feel that the stipend that they will receive should be pretty close to what they're already receiving. And if not, I know, Perrin, you kind of talked about maybe we would just make sure we took care of them on our end if Lakeland didn't cover their investigation fees like they're used to. One thing with Midwest, they will definitely pay mileage fees also. So, any questions for me or for Perrin?
Well, this is Wade. I think you guys did a great job. I mean, it's hard to get an arrangement like this anymore. We need it, so thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I have one more question for Perrin.
Go ahead.
Perrin, now I know our investigators are, to be polite, say getting up in years. Do you have anyone else other than these 2 in line if retirements come about?
No, not necessarily, and I was speaking with Fred Wilson, who's one of the investigators yesterday, trying to get some background on how they even came into play. And it's the medical examiner that hires them, we don't. So the medical examiner has a couple different models. One, they hire investigators like Fred Wilson, who work for the medical examiner. The other model they have is that they will actually train some of our deputies, if need be, to handle the death investigations. So that we might have to go that route.
Okay, my only concern is to not have someone available readily, so either the sheriff department or the fire department or whoever is, they have a body, there's someone able to come in a short time down here so it's not held up for a long time.
No, and we respond to all death scenes, but then that's when we work with the medical examiner's office, and it's a complicated process, but yes, someone always shows up. Essentially what you need a medical examiner to, for lack of a better term, declare a death to release the body to the funeral home. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Good question.
Let's vote. We're all so cheerful here.
Yeah, these are fun things to talk about. But Betsy, you said that they have 4 examiners. So do they have them, around the state? We have one, say, in northern Minnesota that we don't have to wait for somebody to come from Ramsey?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. They don't actually come from Ramsey because what happens is once that the body, once they're declared, then the funeral home actually enters that information into the system, right? I think it's called MRNC system. It's a vital statistics program that is used throughout the state. And so what happens then is the body, if it was needed to have an autopsy, the autopsy, they would get transferred And Green Larson is definitely willing to do that, to go as far as Anoka County and transfer that body. But otherwise, like Karen said, the body is just picked up and brought to the funeral home.
Okay.
So it's not like the medical examiner comes here. They're taking care of declaring that person as deceased from the county, from their office. And that's 24 hours a day service that we have with them. So we will get probably a quicker turnaround than what we were seeing now.
Any further questions for Betsy? All right, I'll call for the vote. Pavlik.
Pavlik, aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Toba. Skoye.
Aye.
And I am an aye. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
CARES Act business. Adopt resolution approving an additional CARES Act fund allocation up to $40,000 for necessary IT expenditure.
Move, Mr. Chair.
I've got a motion by Commissioner McBride. Second by Commissioner Tobin. Any discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. Pavlik.
Aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Tobin.
Aye.
Skoye.
Aye.
And an aye from me. Adopt resolution approving CARES Act fund expenditure to the city of Little Fork.
Move.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Skoye.
Second.
Wade.
I think we had, Wade was the first and Skoye seconded.
Okay. Wade and Commissioner Skoye sound alike. The first one was Wade. Was the first one Wade? Jen?
That's what I thought. Wade, did you make a motion?
Whoops, I was muted. I'm sorry. I made a motion there. Can't remember if it was the first or second. But...
Okay, you were the first, and Wayne, you were the second?
Yeah, either way, it makes no difference. It's Wade, yeah. Go that way, that's fine.
Okay, you guys sound alike out there. Any discussion? All right, I'll call for the vote. Pavlik.
Pavlik, aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Tobin.
Aye.
Skoye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Adopt resolution approving workforce support CARES Act fund expenditure.
Move, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Commissioner Schulblom. Second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner McBride. Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Commissioner Pavlik.
Aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Schulblom.
Aye.
Skoye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Adopt resolution approving unbudgeted payroll CARES Act fund expenditure.
Move again, Mr. Chair.
Got a motion by Commissioner Schulblom. I have a second.
Boy.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Skoye. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the...
Chair?
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to point out that these CARES Act fund expenditures are for not any salaried positions, and it's actually just for overtime, sick leave, and family medical leave under the COVID, under the mandatory requirement that we provide up to 80 hours of paid sick leave and family medical leave. And those are for March 1st through August 31st. And the amount is minimal. It's $16,072. So it's not a lot that we're allocating towards payroll expenses at this time. But these are unbudgeted and are definitely related to the pandemic. So.
Okay. Thank you, John. What's going to happen if, and I'm sure it probably will, go into 2021? Is there going to be anything for 2021 that you know of?
Not that I've heard of right now. We do have I have a meeting with AMC, I think tomorrow. There's a scheduled meeting, so I might find out more if there's anything pending. At this point, we do not know of any other revenues that we're going to receive for the pandemic.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? Okay, I'll call for the vote. Pavlik.
Aye.
McBride. Chobum.
Aye.
Skoye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Public Health and Human Service Business. Accept donation. Don't hear you, Kathy.
We received a donation from the Knights of Columbus for 72 coats again, both boys and girls coats.
Okay.
I would move to accept.
Got a motion by Commissioner Schobel. Is that Schobel or was that McBride?
I'll second Brian's motion.
Okay. We've got a motion by McBride, second by Schobel. Any discussion?
Just thank you to the Knights of Columbus. They seem to come up with this every year, and it's a great thing for the community.
That's a good deal. Yep, it is.
Yes, it is. It's very much needed, so we make good use of it.
All right. Any further discussion? I'll call for the vote. Pavlik.
Aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Chobum.
Aye.
And Skoye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Consider cremation assistance rate increase.
Leif Larson sent a letter to county administration requesting that we consider an increase in the cremation amounts. The cremation with memorial service currently is $1,400, and they are asking for a $250 increase. The cremation with no memorial services, they're currently receiving $1,200, and they're asking for a $200 increase. These rates were established in April of 2011, and there has not been any adjustments to keep up with business inflation rates. I think it's important to honor this request.
So it's been 9 years since there's been any increase.
And there's no one else to do it, so I'll move, Mr. Chair.
All right, I've got a motion by Commissioner Pavlik.
Second, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. Is this like a contract, or is this just kind of up for discussion every couple of years?
It's not been discussed at all previously since the original amount. It's not a contract or anything. It's an agreement with them that this is the amount that we pay. And we have about 7 requests for county burials per year.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
They've actually been very good about it, so.
Yep. All right, I'll call for the vote. Commissioner Pavlik.
Aye.
McBride. Chobum.
Aye.
Skoye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Approve transportation of School District 361 for children and youth purchases of service agreements.
3 items are for each of the school districts within our county, and this is a yearly agreement to provide transportation services for children in foster care. It's a required agreement with the school districts, and there has been very minimal cost to us. In fact, I don't think we have paid anything towards this. It really addresses where children are placed and then who's responsible for transporting them to school. And we've not had any children placed where that's been an issue.
Okay. Can we do all 3 of those in one motion, Kathy?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
I'll move.
Was that Wade or was that Wayne?
It's Wayne.
Okay, thank you, Wayne.
Well, second Wayne and Wade show here.
Okay, I've got a motion by Commissioner Scoy, second by Commissioner Pavlik. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Pavlik.
Pavlik, aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Schobum.
Aye.
Scoy.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Environmental service business.
Good morning. The first item that I have is an Npca SSTS program grant agreement. This is an agreement that we have every year. We receive $18,600 grant to administer our subsurface sewage treatment systems ordinance. Each year we spend much more time than that grant agreement, but it certainly helps offset the costs associated with that. And then also we applied for and were awarded a $40,000 septic treatment upgrade grant. That's for low-income owners that have to replace systems. And I know we've received those grant dollars in the past, and one of the problems, we have troubles finding people that qualify, and I'm working towards revamping our qualifications for those funds. And but this is the first step to get the grant agreement in place with Npca, and so that we can receive the funding. The total grant for this is $58,600, and it's a 2-year agreement to use the grant dollars. We typically use the $18,600 all right away, and then we'll see where we're at in using those low-income funds to help people. So I'd recommend moving forward with the agreement, and it's in county attorney's hands for review too. So.
I'll move. It's Wade.
Okay, the motion by Commissioner Pavlik. Do I have a second?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Second by Commissioner Schobel. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Commissioner Pavlik.
Aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Schobel.
Aye.
Scoy.
Aye.
And I am an aye.
So the next item is an agreement, professional services and amendment with SEH, our engineer on the Island View Sewer Project, for closeout services for the contracts. Due to delays in the construction completion, and we're working on punch list items right now, our engineers are requesting an amendment to the contract to continue project closeout services on the project. The amendment to SEH's contract is adding an additional $25,000 to their contract based on their hourly rates. SEH estimates it will include services through final payment and provide ongoing assistance to the county during the project or the period following the project's final completion, and extending through the contractor's 24-month warranty period. But that all depends on how much time it takes to close out these contracts. And, obviously, things can can take more time depending on how things go. But we're trying to close it out, and I think it's really important to obviously have our engineers online for this.
I would move on that.
Got a motion by Commissioner Schobel. Second by Commissioner McBride. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Huh?
Matt, that's $25,000 unbudgeted in the all the contracts, and it's when you look at the total amount of money with the contracts, it's not a whole lot, but $25,000 should come out of the retainage because we're way past substantial completion, and these expenses keep going. That's just my opinion.
Bragg, thank you. I think that's a discussion when we close out the projects, that we can have, as we're getting closer to releasing retainage. We'll have to have that discussion about all of our expenses and see where it takes us.
Thank you.
How close are we now, Matt, to having that wrapped up?
So I just last night sent, we had punch list items that both contractors have been working on here this fall. I just reviewed USA's punch list items, and I know that the engineer has gotten it back to them. They've got a few items listed under there that are not complete in the punch list, but we've had discussion about that we're reviewing, that we need to review for release of retainage because we're getting that close on contract B. And contract A also, I just sent last night their punch list to the engineer to review. I had to review it, and again, they're very close also. So we're getting really close to the point where we have to make a decision as to retainage and where we go with if there's anything that's going to be withheld or that type of thing. And we'll have to have those discussions with our engineers, myself, and the county attorney. So we're getting very close to completing the project. Contract C, I know that they submitted for final payment, and that's in the engineer's hands to get back to me on that. So,
any other questions for Matt? All right, I'll call for the vote. Pavlik. Are you there, Wade?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I said, yeah, I'm kind of an I.
Okay. Commissioner McBride.
Well, I guess I'm like Wade, I'm an I. That's why I don't have my video on.
Okay. Schobel. Skoye.
Aye.
And I'm an I.
thank you.
All right, thanks, Matt. Okay, is there anyone on for public comment?
Sure.
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Just wanted to share that I was speaking with the Auditor Treasurer's Office this morning, and they said that we typically have 7,000 to 7,500 registered voters. And we have had over 500 newly registered voters this year. And they're between the absentee ballots and the mail-in ballots, 3,269 people have voted so far as of yesterday. So they've been pretty busy down there.
Half of what we normally get.
Yes. Well, as far voted already, yes.
Yep.
That's a stand in line at 7 o'clock in the morning then, right?
Probably not. Just wanted to share that. It's kind of interesting.
That's great. The interest is there. That's great.
All over. The number of voters is astronomical.
Well, I believe, Mr. Chair, and for Betsy's information too, what she shared was that a lot of it is COVID.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. This is Mark with the Veteran Service Office.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I saw that, what triggered my memory when I saw that there was donations on the agenda, and I just wanted to say, of course, due to COVID, our donations have slowed down significantly. However, we've had, some private folks that have stepped forward, like Tim Rood and Pete Taylor, that have donated to our Veterans Transportation Program. And we've also had the Bronco football team had contacted us, and this year they're doing their fundraiser, and they're planning to donate the proceeds to the Veterans Transportation Program. And the coach had told us a week or so ago they had already collected up about $2,000 for that. And I just wanted to let you know that we're still out there beating the brush, and we still got folks that are supporting us, and things are going good in spite of the pandemic. And
all right, that's great to hear.
And Mr. Chair, for organizations and people doing that, I guess I know you'd send them a letter of appreciation and thank you, but if some of these rise to the occasion of the board, maybe having Chairman Adie send a letter too. I can't even say how much I appreciate what they're doing. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Wade. Also, to tail on that, the Bronco football team had also indicated they were planning to do some sort of Veterans Appreciation Night on this Friday night's football game coming up. I don't have all the details on that. I'll try to contact them today to see what I can find out. But, if you would, I know, there's veterans, you're a veteran, there's other veterans in the county, obviously, thousands of them. And hopefully, depending on what the restrictions are, we can get the vets out to the football game on Friday night to be recognized.
Are they still doing football games?
Yes. As far as I know, they were planning. They had one last week, and like I said, the last time I talked to the coach, which was like a week or so ago, they were planning to have this football game on Friday night, the 30th.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chair, there will be football game Friday night.
Okay.
And a question for Mark. Mark, do we accept donations from private donors rather than just from associations or clubs or groups?
Oh yeah, we accept donations from private folks.
Yeah, I think we've had some come through the board, so different times. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Anyone else for public comment? All right. Anything else to come before the board? All right, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Oh.
Motion by Commissioner McBride.
Second.
Who is the second? Okay,
It was either Jason or I don't know who was in on it, so.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Go ahead, Jen, flip a coin and figure out which one. It was either Scoy or Schobel.
Take a Schobel, I might have been sleeping.
Okay. I'll call for the vote.
Havlik, aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Schobel.
Aye.
And Scoy.